Hey everybody, Spaceman here with a new Warcraft 3 commentary for you. In this game, I have SoulGlider in the southwest corner of Northern Isle, and in the northeast corner we have Believe, the Night Elf player. So this game does have some observers. We have Todd, so I imagine this is a tournament game of some sort. I'm sorry, I haven't been following this particular tournament, obviously, so I'm not sure the relevance of this game, but I believe it's one in the series, and I'm hoping that it will be a good one. Just so everyone knows, I downloaded this from Warcraft 3 info, Warcraft3.info, I guess I should say. Great website. Thank you guys for keeping it going and for uploading the replay for people like me. So, it looks like our human player is going with a standard footman opening. I would imagine we're going to see an Archmage first come from him. And in the northeast corner, our elf, I believe, let's see, he's going for a quick power creep on this camp. This is a really easy one to grab. He can definitely ensure his hero finishes this before the human harass might show up. So pretty standard play, expecting it to go well for him. And I'd imagine, I was going to say a demon hunter, but that probably just shows my inherent bias towards the old days. It makes sense. We've been seeing a lot of wardens these days and a lot less demon hunter, but looks like we'll get a warden this time, which is always exciting. And like we expected from the human player SoulGlider, we are getting an Archmage. So let's see where he power creeps first. I'm imagining he'll go this way, although it's possible he'll go down to this camp as well. This one will be safe. I'm sure he's expecting a power creep to come from the elf player, which buys him a little bit more time. Let's see how his scouting is. No scouting yet, so he's being a little risky about it. Believe has scouted his human opponent, though, so he knows exactly what to expect. Starting to creep the camp before the warden is even out, which is always strong. Oh, so I didn't even consider it. But of course, another option for SoulGlider is to go for the immediate fast expo, and that's what we're seeing here. So summon that water elemental. Tank that damage. And how many militia is he bringing? 6. 6 militia for this fast expansion. So that's going to be a lot of wood peasants dedicated to creeping this. How's his wood count? 143. So he's not going to be able to finish his or build his town hall right away. We'll probably see a lumber mill and maybe a tower go up, and he'll slowly start to position to ensure that expansion. He is rebuilding more peasants back home. Looks like his macro's slipping a little bit. He could be building more peasants or a footman right now, but that's going to happen. The warden is going south to harass, and it looks like she's going to interrupt all of these wood peasants. This could be a lot of fun for Believe. Yeah, so he gets in here. Unfortunately, SoulGlider did not start that arcane tower, or building towards an arcane tower, so he's really got to bring his army back here in order to push back the warden. In a perfect world, he would be on the offensive right now, keeping the warden pinned in her base, but instead he's really taking a lot of damage on his peasants. It's nice. Oh, I didn't notice the warden must have had a mana potion. That's a huge fan of knives that finishes off 3 peasants. And that is a lot of peasants lost for the human player here. This is going to be tough to come back from, I think. But I don't mean to be a naysayer or a doomsayer. We'll see what happens. The warden is getting weak. A little bit late on that hide. Forces out a teleport and kills an archer, so that's not bad. The town hall does not get cancelled, which is really, really critical for SoulGlider. And it looks like he's, you know, it's still going to be a little ways away, but I think he'll be able to secure that expansion now. As soon as he's finished, he should start that tower build. There he goes. And I think the right play would be to keep your units near the expansion in case the elf player were to come to harass. Although we can see here that Believe is clearly not going on the offensive anymore. He's decided to creep out this camp. Let's get him level 3. It's going to be close. If not, I'm sure he's aiming to creep his own expansion to try to keep up. Although I think the right play would have been to just go straight offensive again and finish off this town hall, which he might have been able to get away with. Let's see what's going on in the human base. Putting up his first scout tower in anticipation of Warden Fan of Knives harassment. Also going to establish this first arcane tower here. Warden looks like she's going to be going on to the offensive. Our human player has scouted it, so he's running his Archmage and Footmen back to engage the army. Or is he? No, I think this is the better play. So I was going to say the better play would be to hit the main, hopefully draw the Warden back. He's going to catch the Elf mid-tech, hopefully be able to disrupt the wood income, cancel a Moonwell or two, and most importantly, force the Warden back to her base so that she's not able to be harassing this expansion. And now it looks like SoulGlider is right back into this game. Cancels a Moonwell. I think this Footman is not getting any kills, is he? He might have gotten 1 or 2 wisps. I imagine the Archmage is going to teleport here, but gets an Ancient of Wonder kill, which is always nice. Affects the Elf in that now that he has to build a Wonder, which effectively kills off a Wisp, which means he's just going to have a little bit of a harder time building his lures on tier 2. Warden also has still not crept the gold mine, so he's definitely behind in the expansion. And this is looking actually pretty... For such a rocky start for SoulGlider, I think he's really rebounded well, and a lot of that can probably be attributed to the Warden creeping this camp instead of coming right back onto their harass. And then, of course, like I mentioned as well, the human getting into the Elf base and forcing the Elf to return back to base was really huge for SoulGlider as well. So this should be a pretty easy creep camp. The Warden's not going to get level 4 off of this, I don't believe. We're seeing more wisps being created. 2 Ancient of Lores going down. So we'll probably see a lot of Dryads coming out. I don't imagine we'll see an immediate tech to tier 3 just because of the lack of wood. Although, who knows? Who knows? Alright. Archmage will not get level 4 off of this either, but should be a big creep camp, and yeah, picks up a Shredder just to expedite that wood income, which will make a huge difference for him. Let's see. I believe wood is actually quite high right now. Although I'm not seeing a whole lot of wood wisps. I really need to look into getting those add-ons where I can see the unit counts and go through those menus. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We're going to see some Zeppelin harass from SoulGlider. I always like to see Zeppelin harass. It's fun. I thought the Ancient of War was going to get that kill. What item? Ring of Protection +4, a Circlet, and a Pyria. Not bad. Not exactly what you're hoping for on a Warden, but she's tanky, so this maybe would justify a tankier second hero. I'm not sure if that's... Actually, yeah, that's probably standard. If he goes Panda second, or if Believe wants to go Alchemist second, these are both decent items on those 2 heroes, so I'm interested in that. Good Zeppelin harass. Causes a bit of damage. The expansion is really looking situated now. Double barracks. I imagine that's going to be for riflemen, because we also see the blacksmith coming up. So there's going to be a lot of riflemen against Bear Dryad, but right now it's just going to be Dryads for a little bit still. No second hero still for Believe. We have not a whole lot going on here for SoulGlider either. Where's the Zeppelin? There he is. Ooh, and a Sapper coming out. Let's see what happens here. The Archers and Dryads being left at base are a really strong play. It prevents the harassment, also prevents the Sapper play. And you can see he scouted it. But with the Archmage here, those units are going to be forced back. Ooh, nice catch by the Warden. Kills off the Sapper. Comes in to defend against the harass, and is doing a very good job of mitigating damage. Gets, wow, several Footman kills there. So mitigates damage, picks up some experience, secures this expansion, but really the human player is trying to accomplish the same thing, right? The only thing the human player is hoping to accomplish here is buy time and not allow the Warden to wreak havoc on his peasants. So really the human player, I think, is still a little bit ahead here. That's a massive kill. Does that kill the Archmage? That did kill the Archmage. Really, really, really big kill for Believe, and that really throws this game a curveball. Throws a curveball into this game. I apologize. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I really like the 2 Arcanes and a guard tower at both bases. This is going to do a really good job of pushing back that Warden harass. She'll still be a pain like the Warden always is. Tinker. I always like to see a Tinker. I really hope he's going rockets first. That was a thing briefly. I don't know if that's still the the main strategy, but I would really love to see rockets come out here. Big item. Big item. Great for dryads, and I guess we don't have any archers right now, but it would be big there. We get an alchemist from the human player. Not as standard. I was expecting to see a Mountain King. That's what you kind of always expect to see, I think, as a human, or from a human player. But Alchemist is a very popular hero these days as well. We'll see lots of healing sprays, I'm sure. Probably Acid Bomb is the second spell. Even though he probably skills Acid Bomb first, maybe? Time will tell. Alright, Warden is going in for the harass. She has mana potions, she has anti-magic potions, so those arcane towers are not going to be doing anything to her while she has that up. This should be level 4 for the Archmage, unless he decides to give all of the experience to the Alchemist. I think that might be a mistake. Brilliant Sword level 2 will be a big deal. We do have Priests, Mortars, and Rifles coming out from the human player, who's capping himself at 48 food. Up to 1,000 gold, so probably nearing a point of breaking it. And wow! That is unfortunate for Believe. Loses another Zeppelin. His hero does have a teleport, so he'll be able to get out of here pretty effectively. And the Warden is finally in harassing the expansion, so uses the anti-magic potion, is able to harass all of these peasants without losing any mana. Easily clears this out, and I think the right play is going to be to just run away and save that mana potion for when she wants to go in on a few more peasants than just one. Human player reacts, but a little too slowly, and the Warden gets out cleanly, and is more than halfway now to level 6, which is a scary thing. Tinker, meanwhile, his squad at least, is still dizzy from that Zeppelin crash, and really hasn't been able to accomplish anything in the time that was bought with this Warden. So really what Believe was hoping to do there was, well, I guess with the Zeppelin, he wanted to harass the main and the expansion with the Warden and the main with the Tinker. The other play, though, would have been to just be creeping with the Tinker. Probably the safer play. And create space for the Tinker to farm by, harassing this with the Warden like he did. Anyway, Tinker is forced to teleport back. Still level 2, so he's not gaining a lot of experience there, but the level 5 Warden is looking very dangerous next to a level 4-1 Archmage Alchemist. And a level 1 Blood Mage coming in. Probably just for Siphon Mana, just to do what he can to keep that Warden under control. So we have 56 food now from SoulGlider. Hopefully, yeah, he's got enough resources to be pumping out a bunch of units at a time. Oh, he's got a couple knights in as well. What are these priests? Masters, so he does have inner fire. This is going to be a strong human army. It's a little bit small, but once he spikes, this is going to be quite difficult for the elf player to deal with on just 2 heroes, I think. Once the Tinker gets another level or 2, he'll be a lot more formidable and useful in those fights. Warden comes in, gets 1, 2... I'm sure at least 4 kills, yep. Does she get the mortar team? No. Archmage chases her down, which is a little dangerous. Alchemist is level 2 now, and this is what I meant to, or I was trying to talk about before. As opposed to harassing both the main and the expansion with both armies, I think that's really difficult to pull off. He's instead just creeping with the Tinker, which is much safer. He gets more value, well, he's guaranteed value on his time, a little more than trying to do fancy drops here while microing here, so this is the more advanced play to harass both at the same time, but the safer play is definitely to creep with one and harass with the other, in my humble opinion. So this is going to be a nice camp. We'll see what item drops from this Magnetor Reaver. Plausive attack plus 12. Great item, but not necessarily the best heroes to use it. Do we have anything too interesting? Still, that Flute of Accuracy is nice. The Mountain Giants are starting to come out, which is a really big deal for Believe. And nothing too exciting on the Warden in terms of items. Obviously, it's nice to have the Orb of Venom, but that's happening every game regardless. There go those rockets. Big engagement. It's hard to say what's going to happen here. The Tinker is being forced back. Those mortar teams are doing a ton of damage to the Dryads. Book of the Dead comes out, and there's not enough Dryads to do big dispels here. Healing Wave is just stopping the Fan of Knives. Look at that. Wow, the Warden's not even able to kill a single priest right now. Mana drain on the Warden is really low at level 1, but still effective. Wow. SoulGlider did very well there, and a couple archers get left behind too. The healing with those priests and the alchemist is quite strong. That was really difficult for Believe to deal with. Although now his Warden is one kill away from level 6, and that's a game changer against human. Chims have also entered the battlefield. Makes, again, the elf army that much more difficult to deal with. Those knights will get melted. Mortar teams are useless. There's only a couple riflemen out right now. Hero levels 4-3-2, getting stronger, and they all can attack the air units, so Chims aren't going to be the end of the game by any means, but they're definitely going to help out and maybe prolong this a little bit longer. 4 bears, 2 mountain giants, and the Chimera. I call them Chims. I'm going to stick with Chims. Against quite a few knights. Let me see, 76 food against 77 food. This is a pretty even army. 2 attack, 0 upgrades against 1 attack, 2 armor upgrades. Warden's at full mana. She's got her anti-magic potion, so that's going to stop the Blood Mage from mana draining for a little while. Let's see how this goes. It's going to be big. The heal wave, or the heal spray, I should say. Alright, Fan of Knives, and the heal spray goes off, but that was a big Fan of Knives. And the heal spray was a little bit off. This fight is looking very, very strong for Believe. Completely forces the human player back. Expansion stands. We have 70 food for the human player versus 70 from Believe, so they're still very even actually after that. But the knights are, again, very, very vulnerable to these Chims. And the Warden did get level 6, so big harassment coming in. 3,900 gold left in the human expansion. So despite losing all those peasants, he's still gotten more gold out of the expansion than the elf player did, which tells you just how far ahead his expansion timing was. And the other big item, I'm calling another Claws of Attack plus 12. It's a better item for the Warden, who's going into harass. Big Fan of Knives, holding on to her anti-magic potion this time. Legion of Doomhorn. Such a good item to pick up. That's really nice for the elf army. Some passive healing on the mountain giants and bears and dryads and heroes and anything else he happens to have nearby. And the movement speed is nice. Oh, the Warden is vulnerable though. Oh. I'm not even sure what happened. I'm a little confused, but there's no time. The expansion's going to just get dropped. This looks like a good engagement for the elf player. The gyros are doing a good job of cleaning up the Chims. There's a good line of melee units for the elf player. Tinker is in very weak shape. There needs to be some healing. The Warden, where's the Warden? She's nowhere to be seen, just going back for mana. And in that time, SoulGlider is really able to... maybe not, actually. This melee line is doing quite well. The Avatar shows up. Dryad's going down. This is a hard one to call, guys. Big heals, really big heals. We still have 4 bears. Mountain Giants low. Warden, massive Fan of Knives, using the anti-magic potion, so the Blood Mage can't do any draining. Tinker is still alive, but he's being pushed back, and now it's looking like the human player is going to overrun. Those heroes are getting stronger. Warden is forced to teleport back. Tinker goes down. The Avatar is still quite strong, but there's 3 knights, a breaker, and a mortar team here. Expansion is down. This is definitely a place where SoulGlider can just pull back, resituate, and exploit his gold lead now, because he's definitely ahead in terms of food. It's 30 to, 68. He's got the expansion with enough gold that it makes a big difference. And the majority of, he knows the majority of Believe's damage output is in these avatars, or these spirits of vengeance from the Avatar, which ultimately They're going to be a nuisance and maybe get a couple picks, but they'll die off and then he'll be able to move in with a vastly superior force. Very good engagement there from the human player. The Warden not having mana at the beginning of the fight, I think, caused a lot of problems for Believe, and he was forced to run all the way here to buy that potion. Warden going for a priest pick. Forced back, though. Acid Bomb level 2. That makes sense because it's a level 4 Alchemist. We have level 2 Brilliance, also makes sense, although I think there is a case to be made for level 3 Brilliance sometimes. And leaving the Knights to chase the Warden is a good play. Priests are down, but it's too little too late at this point, I think. One Moonwall goes down. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. The Avatar is going to drop. There's not enough mana on the Warden for a new one, even if cooldown is finished. Just 2 bears left, and yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this one. So many Fan of Knives, though. He's doing a good job. This Blood Mage 3rd is a very strong pick. It just makes life so much more difficult for the Warden. Even losing all those peasants to that harass, the human player comes out pretty convincingly in the end. So that was a good game. I'm glad I watched that one. Maybe I'll download the other and check that out as well. But or at least for now, thank you guys for watching. Very much appreciated. Great game, SoulGlider and Believe. And you know, let me know what you think. Questions, comments, criticisms are always welcome. And until next time, have a great rest of your night.